And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, if at any point my voice starts to sound raspy and weird, I apologize. I'm going through things. But I can't just call off of work. Bryan Broaddus to shame me. So I gotta crawl my ass in this room, cut this camera and this microphone on, and get busy. Bryan Broaddus, you ain't sick over there, are you?
No, man.
Because we can cut this thing off if you sick. What is that?
No, man, we're all good here. Oh. We are all good. We're getting to start to see some interesting players that kind of, are they better than what you've seen? Are they a lot worse than what you've seen? Are they even in the mix of what you've seen? You know, I mean, these players that are third, fourth, fifth round type players, they make me think and struggle more than the top dudes.
I think those initial draft grades got it totally wrong. They got it totally wrong. They got it totally wrong.
I agree.
Most of those guys up top fell like 50 spots. But some of these guys that we're just finding more and more of, Bryan, you go,
are going up 50 spots, yeah.
They're going up 50 spots. You know, relative to, you know, we don't grade guys. We don't do the way too early things, right? We just go to PFF just for a list. We go to Brugler just for a list. And then we make our own rankings from there. And, man, Bryan, these people be all over the place, man. Today we got Jaydon Blue from Texas, Pat Bryant from Illinois, and Torrey Horton from Colorado State. Bryan, what's my favorite game here? Go ahead and rank them for me.
You're going to ask me to rank them,
and
I'm going to rank them for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you went Blue, Bryant, Horton is what I'm going to say you did.
That sounds about right to me, Bryan Broaddus. And it's interesting. I got them all in the fourth.
Okay.
I got them all in the fourth. And in the fourth, that running back group is really competitive on my board.
Mm-hmm.
Smith, Giddens, Hunter, Scatterbo, Blue, they're all in that range for me.
Yep.
I didn't have a whole bunch of fourth-round receivers at first, Bryan Broaddus.
No.
Bryant, Higgins, Horton, Bond in that order for me. That's my order.
Yeah.
So is that close to you? Is that far from you? Where you at with that?
Yeah. I think you're boy, you made me have a come to Jesus meeting about my running backs.
Yeah.
I went Smith, SMU. This is fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
Smith, SMU. Blue, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter from Auburn.
Yep.
Giddings from
Kansas
I
State.
forgot what Giddings from Kansas State
because he's slow, right?
And then our Rutgers kid.
Manungai.
Right, Manungai. Yeah. So that's where I've got those running backs all kind of laid out right now. Wide receivers, I only have 2 fourth-round receivers, Bryant and Bond.
Okay.
I put Horton in the 5th.
Okay.
Is what I did.
I don't hate that neither, but you know, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. We will talk about it, sir.
Let's start with Jaydon Blue, Bryan.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to have to give my analysis on these guys slowly. Because I feel like their analysis was kind of all over the place, you know? I like to look at the game logs first.
Mm-hmm.
I think game logs are very valuable information. Some games he didn't get a whole bunch of carries. Sometimes he carried the load.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, what's going on with this? But what I noticed, some games, not all games, Bryan, some games when he wasn't carrying the load in the run game, he was catching a shit ton of passes, Bryan Broaddus.
He sure was, man.
And he was getting busy in the pass game too, Bryan. Normally when you see guys that's doing stats like that, they're a little small, Bryan.
Yeah.
Jaydon Blue, 6 foot 200 you got?
Yeah. He's actually 6 foot 200. Yep.
So,
sure
Bryan, I'm watching him, and I'm seeing him pick up his yards, pick up a 5 here, 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
I think he reads the run lanes really well. I think he got some pretty decent patience to him. But, Bryan, when he sees the hole and he flies, people don't touch him.
Nope.
If there's a run lane worth discussing, he's gone. If you think you got an angle on him, you don't. So I'm curious to know what he's gonna run with that big body of his. So
I think he's going to go fast, Voch.
Yeah,
I do. I think he's going to go fast. There's some games where and you could watch him get the corner.
Yeah.
And they got angles on him up the sideline.
Clemson beat the hell out of Clemson.
They can't stop him. Yeah.
I watched Brent, I watched Clemson and I watched Michigan.
Yeah.
And it was one more game I watched. It was
Texas A&M.
Ohio State, maybe.
Okay.
Ohio State.
Okay.
I didn't see any.
Okay.
But I made sure I wanted to watch Clemson because he got 14 carries in that game, and I wanted to see what that was all about. And Bryan, he'll get that corner, and like you said, like if it's blocked decently enough, he's out of there. So he's a big play machine, Bryan.
Right.
But then he'll kind of finish the runs really well, right? Like he's not just a finessey, scat back kind of guy. He's finishing the runs. And then when I saw in the passing game when he wasn't catching the ball, I think he has some decent blocking to him. He's not a devastating blocker, but he will get in the way and he will impede the rush. I say bet. You are a three-phase back. You can run, you can catch, and you can block. You got some damn good size, and you going to fly. You didn't get a ton of carries on you, so a team may look at that and go, all right, cool, well, you're not beat down or anything like that.
Right.
The sample size is not humongous, but I think him receiving, like he don't just catch the ball, Bryan. These are humongous-ass plays in the receiving game.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being a coward a little bit because I got a 4 on him, but I think he can go a little higher than that.
I think that
I just haven't seen enough of it. I just haven't seen enough.
I have a hard time, Voch. Let me tell you what I have a hard time with.
Please.
I have a hard time, and maybe, okay, this is where, and maybe on your board, I think this, but on my board it's different, and I think it's different in a couple of ways.
Okay.
My third round with Sampson from Tennessee, Harvey from UCF,
okay,
Junkins, Ohio State. This is now where I get a problem.
Okay.
Because, and I might be getting in a problem with, is he better than Junkins? Is he better than Neal from Kansas? Is he better than Scatterbull from Arizona State? Is he better than Smith from SMU? See, this is the problem I'm running into now, because I think I want to say he's better than Neal. And I got Neal in the third round.
I got Neal in the 5. I don't think Neal does enough athletically for me.
So Neal does, so Neal, so in your mind, Neal's already out of the mix.
Yes, sir.
And you're not a Scatterbull fan, right?
No, I got him in the 4th.
Okay, so here we go.
See, Bryan, what I did though, the first thing I did was I put Blue over all the people I feel like can't run, right? So I like Giddens, Scatterbull, Monangai, Neal. I like those guys, but
they can't run. They can't all run.
They can't run. Blue can run, but he can also catch. He can also block. And he's also big, right? So it's really Blue or like Smith, SMU, because he can run. But Blue does everything. But Blue doesn't have the sample size. So like you said, Judkins is kind of like the line, right?
He's the line.
He's the gatekeeper. He's the gatekeeper. But Judkins got a lot of tape, Bryan. He got a lot of good catches, a lot of good blocks, and a lot of good runs for 2 different teams. I can't, in good conscience, you know what I'm saying? But Judkins, the second running back on his team, Bryan, you know what I mean? So, like, it's Blue didn't get as many opportunities maybe as he should have gotten. But I say that sparingly, though, because where he didn't get carries, he got catches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
He got catches. So I'm just having a hard time with him, Bryan. But when I watch him play, this may be one of them. You remember a couple years ago when Pickens was coming out of Georgia, Pickens, and he didn't have a whole bunch of tape. So you had to
Yeah.
take 3 catches here and 5 plays
Yeah.
there and 7 and piece it together. I think if you piece Jaydon Blue together, I think you got some damn good tape. But
Yeah.
it's hard for me to put him over the consistent guys with a lot of good tape.
See, this is, and you make great points. The more that I look at, and what I should have looked at Blue is, and you're right about Neal. And you're right about Neal. Blue's a better player than Neal, but Neal has more of a.
Yeah.
You see it. That
Good
kind
runner.
of thing.
Good runner. Yeah.
Yeah, and you wonder, like I said, Watch, I think Blue's gonna fly at the combine. I do. Those Texas kids, they train well. They've got good programs down there. They got a good coach that works with them. This kid's probably gonna fly.
Yeah.
And when he does, it's gonna be like, oh well, wow, he's a 4.38 guy.
Yeah.
And then your guy from Kansas, Neal is going to run 4.52 or 4.54 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, whoa, okay, well, there you go. There's the difference.
Yeah.
You've talked me into the way you have it with the way it's kind of like our deal with the non-bendies and the bendies as the edges.
Same thing.
You got to separate those guys. You can't have non-bendies with bendies.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. You can't do that.
Sure.
So I think you're onto something with Blue. I do wish he had more carries.
Yeah.
There's some things that you're going to have to. I think there's a couple of things you're going to have to be concerned. I was talking with my son with Bennett about it because he goes to school down in Texas, and he lives this program. He says, Dad, you're going to have to worry about ball security with this guy.
Mm.
You're going to have to worry about a little ball security. And you brought it up with pass blocking too. Is a little bit. It's not perfect.
No.
And it's not like he's got some really good traits that way. What makes this guy so unique is the speed and the finish.
Yeah.
And he could turn the corner, and he plays well in the open field.
Passing game
he can
too.
Bounce.
Yep.
He can bounce it, and he's got power with his running style. He gets to the seams. He could accelerate. He makes defensive players miss. He's completely and I said this is completely a home run as a pass receiver. Natural hands, clean routes, threaten space, acceleration. Makes it tough for defenders to close on him out of the backfield. After the catch, he turns one-on-one situations into easy wins with his athletic ability and quickness. And I said this, though, like I said, his technique as a pass blocker must improve to stay on the field. I feel like this player will be good in a zone scheme, like we talked about. Okay, get the ball, boom, go.
Bounce,
that kind of thing. Bounce it if he has to. Home run hitter, pass catching threat of the backfield. But the ball security and pass blocking is a minus right now, which will be needed corrected to gain the trust of his coaches. I said so. This is an explosive player, and I like I say, my son's like, yeah, Dad, he makes a ton of plays, big time player, but you need to go and find out about and ask some people about the ball security stuff.
Do you think
he will put the ball on the ground?
Do you think that his pass blocking was not good enough to keep him off the field? Because I think his pass blocking is fine. It's just not great.
It's not great. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, you start to talk about some of these other guys like, the Hendersons.
Yeah, Giddens ain't blocking nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So if you're going to be that third down type, there's going to be a day or so or a play or so where you're going to have to pick up blitzes, and this is going to be maybe a little bit of a problem for him, but this kid is a really good player.
Sure.
Jeez, he's a good player. And he splits time with the guys. But you can watch the A&M game, watch the other kid just dominate A&M if you want, but man, I tell you what, he is, like I say, I'm debating. I know he's going to run faster than Neal. I know he's going to run faster than a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And I might have to flip him. You've already done it on your board. You've put Neal in a place like this is what Neal is.
Yeah.
Boom. He's that line. So I think I'm coming to that realization myself right now, the more that you and I talk about this.
Bryan, how close are you to making Jaydon Blue like a late third guy?
It's not taking much because, like I said, Sampson, Harvey, Junkins, Neal, Scattaboo for me right now. My debate is Neal and Scattaboo, and I know people love Scattaboo. There's debate there. There's a side of me that believes that maybe Smith and Blue will be taken before Neal and Scattaboo.
Yeah.
Does that make and that's third round talk right there.
So Bryan, let's say we don't go Genty 1.
Mm-hmm.
We go Jack Best 2.
Yeah.
We don't have a running back, and we ain't got no foes neither.
Yeah.
Let's say these running backs go off in this order: Genty, Hampton, Johnson, Henderson, Harvey, Judkins, Sampson. Are you comfortable taking Blue at 76?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He needs to be in the third round. When I look at even though he splits time,
yeah,
I trust my son telling me to check with scouts on the ball security stuff, which, is something you always need to look at. But his ability to make plays, catching the football and running the football, pretty rare.
Do you pair him with somebody, or is he like a bell cow guy?
I think you got to.
200 pounds.
Yeah, it's who's to say at that at 6 foot 200 pounds he can't handle it.
Yeah,
he just happened to play in a really good offense. Now they were struggling some with the running backs. I mean, they got some dudes that got hurt.
Yeah,
but he looks tough running the ball. I don't have an issue with him running the football.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that you're always going to get another back. You're always going to find another back somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't doubt this kid carrying the football. Yeah, but if the ball security stuff's real and more carries leads to more turnovers,
sure.
Then we're gonna have to do something there.
And that's why the sample size is so important.
I need to talk to the scouts that do Texas, and ask, like, listen, is there a ball security issue with Blue? And I'll see if they'll say if to a man and they say no, then he there's no reason for him not to be in the third round, and there needs to be no reason why I wouldn't be comfortable taking him at 76.
Bryan, let's talk about Michael Gallup. I mean, Pat Bryant from Illinois there. From Illinois, 6'3". He a little more slender than Gallup. Gallup was a big muscle. Pat Bryant, like what, 190 something maybe?
He is. Pat Bryant's actually 208.
208? Well, never mind. He up there with him.
6'2", 208 is what we got.
For a tall, slender-looking character, Bryan will call him high cut. Bryan, ain't he like a high cut kind of guy?
He is kind of a high cut guy.
He got
high cut meaning short upper body, long legs, long waist. So like he's high cut meaning he's up here is where. So trying to describe that. Yeah. I think I did all right there.
You did all right. Got a long stride though, huh, Broaddus?
He does. He
really gets off the line of scrimmage with those long legs, and that was surprising because when you see some of the other tall wide receivers, whether it be a guy like Higgins or McMillan, like they get faster down the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pat, I feel like gets off the ball pretty well to be like a taller kind of guy. I think he's very physical when the ball is in the air with whoever's trying to cover him. I think he uses his size really well, boxes out really well. I think he tracks the ball really well in the air.
Yeah.
Now, I want to call him a great hand catcher, but I'll see him body catch sometime. This is all good. I'll see it get in there. But for the most part, he is catching with his hands, and I see him make these high point catches, which I like that a lot.
Yeah.
He'll just go up over the defender. And you can really get a feel for his catch radius. I don't know what his length is numbers wise, but in
Hmm.
football, like my football eyes, I see him going over people sometimes.
Right.
I really
Right.
liked him as a yak guy, Brian. He seemed like
Yeah.
once he got moving, he was a little hard to tackle. And just watched him in the run game. He wasn't a perfect blocking guy, but he was a very willing blocking guy. I was noticing like he was just on his blocks, like he wasn't trying to avoid him or anything like that. Wasn't great at him, but he wasn't trying to avoid him.
Yeah.
Now Brian, I got him in the fourth. I got him over
Yeah.
Higgins because I feel like Higgins can't run, and I feel like Bryant can.
Right. Yeah.
So I got him as a can run guy. Yak dude, and also too, Brian. He also got a little smoothness to his game for such a tall guy. So when he's running his routes and changing direction, I think he got a little bit of smooth and slickness to him.
Right.
But that might just be my my own eyes with that. But I got him in the fourth, Brian. What you think about Pat Bryant from Illinois?
Yeah, you know what? And I'm looking at something really, really, really quick that I wanted to do because I thought this kid reminded me of somebody in the league, and I wanted to make sure that I should have went back and checked I should have went back and checked it if I read the report because I saw this. Let's see if I can find him here. What year did Bateman come in the league from Minnesota?
What's that, like 19 or something? No, it wasn't 19. It was too far.
Was it too far?
20. Let me see. I got you. Rashad Bateman.
Is it 20? Is it 20?
Rashad.
No, it's not. It's not 20.
He was
21.
21. Yeah, 21, 27th overall pick.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. If let me read this and you tell me if it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And okay. Okay, this is what I said about Bateman coming out of Minnesota, is what I said. And he kind of this kid that we're talking about from Illinois remind me a little bit about Minnesota, or about this kid Bateman. And I said he can make one of the most talented receivers studying during this process. Don't believe there's anything he can't do on the field. Impressive size with athletic ability makes difficult appear easy. Can finish plays with the best of them, will extend for the ball, snatch it right out of the sky, makes things happen with the ball in his hands. Start, stop, quickness helps in routes. Good in that area, is able to get separation and locate the ball quickly. Has made his share of adjusting catches. Ball is not always where it needs to be, but manages to come down with it. It appeared hard for the quarterback to throw one by him. Outstanding when it comes to tracking the ball, put himself in position to make big-time plays. Has a flair for the dramatic, excellent sideline awareness with body control and balance. Will contort his body in order to make amazing catches. Runs well enough that you don't see him getting caught. Can be tough to bring down with the ball in his hands. We use a stiff arm in order to keep going. Was on and off the roster. Okay, that's because of COVID. But yeah. Okay, now if I could circle back to this kid. Outstanding ball skills and body control. Wins with contested catches with high point ability. Has a feel for the game. Never seen a receiver who gets away with pushing off more than this guy. Long strider that can cover some ground when given free access. He's not the most explosive player, but shows some toughness with the ball in his hands. He builds up speed as he goes, uses subtle movements to push defenders off their spots and open up space for him to operate. Does a nice job of finding voids in defense. With the ball in his hands, he's going to get north and south and will break tackles as a runner. Best when he can get the ball in the air. He will extend to his full ability. Does a great job on the back shoulder fades. Doesn't have top end speed, but for the position, but works well with what he has. He's a plus level blocker with good effort. Ideal third receiver. Now Bates ends up being a first round receiver, but I third receiver who can make tough plays when called on. Clutch type of player. And then that's where I said some Rashad Bateman to his game. I kind of thought I was looking at a guy like Bateman, and it happened to be Big Ten dudes. You know how that is. Sometimes you get in a conference, and you see that type of guy. Yeah, Bateman went in the first round.
I thought
made
Bateman was
some
like a third round guy though. You know, when Bateman was
Bateman third.
no.
He was
Bateman went.
coming out.
Yeah. He went first,
Was
but
the
I had
first-
him in the third. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I kind of thought this kid was kind of that same. I didn't have Bateman in the first round myself. I know that.
Yeah.
But this kid kind of reminded me of that type of ability. I'm with you on this one, and I mentioned I had him in the fourth round. The thing about him is, like I say, he is going to be better than he's probably similar to Higgins, but Higgins can't run. So that's the biggest difference between these guys, is what it is.
Right. Right. That's where I'm at with it, Brian. We seem to be on the same page here. Listen, Brian, how far are we gonna drop Bond? Where you got him at? Isaiah Bond from Texas. And
Yeah, you know what? He's, once again, you're looking at him probably in the fourth round on my board right now. I know he is, and I mean, he always started off. He was kind of a third round guy, and then you started seeing some other guys, and I like Royals better. I like Harris better. Tej Johnson, better. So yeah, and and then you talk about Bryant and Higgins. I just think that Bond, he's just too inconsistent.
Yeah.
That's the thing right now. And I'm probably not gonna lower him much lower than that fourth round. Probably not. But that's every player that I seem to be studying. Now the next player we're going to talk about, Horton.
Yeah.
He's below Bond on that stuff. So
okay.
I wasn't a fan of Horton. I think you had him in the fourth, but I had him in the fifth.
I got Horton in the fourth over Bond. Brian, why don't you kick us off and tell us about Torrey Horton from Colorado State there?
Yeah, I will. This kid is an interesting study in the way of, I think that first off, he's a transfer from Nevada, and he's a two-time captain to Colorado State. I didn't see the fastest or the quickest guy here. He's 6'3", he's 185.
Yep. And
I didn't see a very fast guy or a quick, and maybe because he's so tall, the way he's built, he's not going to be that way. But he suffered a knee injury in the San Jose State game this year, which I think was about week 5. And so he missed the rest of the season. I worry about a guy who's not already fast and quick and now has a knee injury. And I wonder if it's going to slow him down even more. I think there's some vertical routes to his game. I would say that the speed is just adequate on the outside. I mean, he tracks the ball really well in the air. Physical tools. He'll line up on the outside. They played him in the slot. I didn't think he was always best dealing with press coverage. I think the length and the lack of quickness showed up here. He might have some problems separating at the next level. Contested catches, though, won't be a problem here. I think this guy's got some hands are good enough to do this. I didn't think he was overly physical as a player. If he could catch like off coverage, that's to his advantage. His catch radius is pretty impressive. I feel like he has a feel for how to work along the sidelines, back of the end zone, and then kind of take balls in. And good with the footwork, good with the balance. He gets what he can with the ball in his hands. He just doesn't have a gear to get away from tacklers.
Sure,
is what I saw. And but he'll turn up the field, dive forward. This kid had one drop and 38 targets this year. So you talk about the hands there. He has gotten better each year he's played at Colorado State. You're going to have to check the right knee for sure. But I worry about his ability to have speed and to have quickness. And that was even before the injury. And now he's got this knee injury, and I wonder where that's going to lead him. But I had him in the fifth round is where I had him.
They don't run a whole bunch of routes with him.
No,
they only run a handful. They run bubble slant, that little crosser,
the crosser, the screen, the vertical stuff. Yeah.
And they just really asked him to go and make plays. Brian, what did you think about him with the ball in his hands, like just as a yak guy. What did you think of him from that way?
I kind of saw him take the ball, get up the field, kind of get what he can. There were a couple times where he fell down, got tripped up. There was a couple of screens where he was able to kind of bust through. And I went back and watched some 23 tape where they throw him the ball and he comes inside and then he gets upfield and, then he gets tackled. But I was more impressed with his ability to go get the football than I was like the run after catch stuff.
I think his 23 tape was his best tape. And I watched a couple of games. I watched Colorado from last year. I think like Purdue or something. I can't remember. It was like a black and gold looking team, I remember. But I thought he had some pretty decent yards after the catch, Brian. I thought he was able to kind of, wiggle and shake guys up a little bit, but maybe that was just my own eyes there. But you ain't wrong. There's not a bunch of depth and utility to the player. Like what he is just kind of what he is. And yeah, he's my third favorite guy in this bunch for that reason. It's shocking to hear that he only had one drop in 38 catches because I felt like I saw him, not catch the ball great a few times. But maybe because I was watching more last year, and maybe
this was metrics, and whether you trust. I mean, I was just curious, and I thought it was interesting. It was from Pro Football Focus from this year, so he only played, the 5 in the 38. So maybe some more struggles in some of the games of last year.
I thought his biggest selling point was his yards after the catch, but maybe me and you could just not be on the same page about that. But you're not wrong though. I was kind of debating whether to put him in the 4 or the 5, but I had Bond at 4, and I just couldn't put him below Bond. No. So I just couldn't put him. So maybe I just got to put Bond in the 5. Maybe I just got to put Bond in the 5.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave Bond where he is, and like I said, it's don't look at his window dressing. I mean, the kid's gonna run well. Hopefully, I would struggle with him.
Yeah.
I think somebody will take him a lot earlier than I would, and I'm fine with that. If that's what he is, that's what he is. So, but like I say, this kid, the run after catch is something that's, that I didn't notice. I just noticed a lot of catch, break, and then get forward. Sure. I didn't see like something where I thought, you got some of these dudes running after catch and it's just, they're getting chunk yards.
Yeah.
I will say this though.
Sure.
I think his metrics showed he averaged like 13.8 or 7. I think I'm remembering that right. Okay. That number for some reason. So that would tell you that a little bit of all the stuff he does with the underneath, the crossing stuff, and maybe the screen stuff, but the down where he's really good, I think, is the down the field stuff. When
Sure.
Throw the ball down the field and make plays that way.
Well, that's some damn fantastic analysis, Bryan Broaddus. I appreciate you for blessing our audience with that, sir. We gonna come back tomorrow. I'm gonna still be a little sick, but we gonna get it in. We got a draft show tomorrow, so I
Are you on the draft show tomorrow?
I'm on Tuesday and Thursday. It feels like I'm on all the episodes, even though they leave me off some of them. I don't know. But we got a bunch of stuff coming up, and the higher ups might start to play games a little bit.
Well, we got things coming up like next week. I'll be coming to you from Arizona. We'll be nighttime duty from Arizona. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I can't believe the morning show, who likes baseball more than our show. Not that we hate baseball, but the morning show, Sean and RJ and Bobby are going to the combine. And
what?
I know they're going to the combine, and me and
because of Bobby, they found a way to leverage Bobby up in there. Yeah.
Me and Wolchuk are going to the baseball, the Rangers baseball. I'm like,
that is ass.
I go,
backwards.
Wait a minute. I go, what are we doing? What are we doing here right now? So, but no, we're going to be at baseball next week. But I'm looking forward to draft show tomorrow, and we got some, like I said, we got a good list of players to knock out. I'm really interested to talk to you about Willie Lampkin from North Carolina.
You want me to just go ahead and watch him, and we could just talk about him tomorrow?
Willie Lampkin will be on your list for tomorrow, by the way.
For Wednesday.
For Wednesday. I'm sorry, for Wednesday. Yeah.
Right.
But no, just save him for Wednesday. But
Okay.
make sure, you get him on the list. I'll be fascinated to hear when we get back together. Well, we'll talk about Tuesday draft show stuff, but I'll fascinate what you got for Wednesday for Willie Lampkin.
Willie Lampkin, Olawafemi Oladejo from UCLA, and Ahmad Hassanin from Boise State. We're gonna watch those guys Wednesday. So y'all go ahead and knock them out, and we'll meet y'all here Wednesday to go over some of our work. All right, Bryan Broaddus, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all follow me at VOCHLONBARDI and BRYN Broaddus on social media. That handshake was super perfect. BRYN Broaddus on social media. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. We love y'all to pieces. Till next time, all right? Crown.